Hey there, it's Mike from metaldetectoruniverse.com, and today we're going to talk about why your metal detector keeps beeping. So let's face it, metal detectors, they're supposed to beep, but that's really when they find a target and not the odd times that would be quite annoying or tell you that something's wrong. If your metal detector's beeping a lot or even irregularly, you got to do something about it. So why is it acting crazy? Well, some of the more common reasons include low batteries, improperly set sensitivity, you've got connections or control box cable, moisture, soil that's got mineralization in it, maybe even something like metal in your footwear. There's a few other possibilities. The coil itself could be bad. EMI, electromagnetic interference, is setting the detector off. Improper swing when you're walking through the field and you're not swinging right, or you're swinging it maybe by some metal in your boots or steel-toed boots, that could cause that. If you're swinging your detector near your shovel or a pick or any other metal item that you might be carrying or laying on the ground, that could be doing it. You could even be too near another detector, one of your buddies or something, and that will set that off. So if it's low batteries, obviously the fix is to replace it. And you should consider things like extra batteries when you're on your trip. Make sure you're inserting them correctly. If you get a low battery warning or irregular operation, that could give you a indication of a low battery, and it could be the cause of beeping. Some of the metal detector batteries, it's common for them to last 20 to 30 hours. So if you haven't hit that threshold yet, it might not be a low battery situation. Look at your manual. Just make sure you get the recommended battery for your detector. A lot of detectors will use the standard AA's, while some detectors have special battery packs designed just for them. Also, when you replace batteries, your manual might suggest a reset. Make sure you do that because that's what the manufacturer recommends, and it's the smart thing to do. If it's a sensitivity setting, you want to readjust that on your metal detector. That could cause excessive beeping. You might go to a lower, less sensitive setting. You should never leave it at the maximum because you don't want to hear everything that's out there in the ground. So adjust it for conditions like ground mineralization, the electromagnetic interference that might be causing it to go off, groupings of junk metal where maybe people have thrown a bunch of trash in the ground. You also might lose depth capability, but there's a trade-off in the noise reduction or that chatter that you hear. That could cause you to skip over good targets. That trade-off is worth it. So adjust the sensitivity down. If you're getting moisture in the cable connectors or the control box, disconnect and dry those out. Use a paper towel or a soft towel to get in the little sockets and absorb any moisture. That's obviously going to be a problem for electrical equipment and circuit. There's another thought. If you're detecting in extremely humid areas, even maybe fog, light mist, you might be getting moisture in the connectors or control box itself. And of course, having dropped your detector in the water, that would cause a problem too. So make sure you dry those things off really good if you accidentally do that. If you're being impacted by mineralized soil, which is soil that contains more iron content relative to the ground around it, do some ground balance adjustments. So the soils that contain more than average concentrations of minerals and iron can cause your detector to erratically alert. Depending on the model you have, you can do ground balancing either manually or through an automatic setting. Sometimes even red clay and bricks that have minerals like iron in them, which is why they're red, that can set the metal detector off too. If you have metal in your footwear, like steel-toed boots, make sure you don't bring your detector too close to the footwear. Larger eyelets, maybe even laces that have metal tips on them. Some people even like these little carabiners, these little cargo hooks, so to speak, that they can hang on the loops in the back of their boots or in their laces, and that could cause a problem too. So in terms of wrap-up, there's a lot of reasons for excessive beeping. It doesn't necessarily mean your detector's bad. It could even be low batteries, that kind of thing. There is a solution for most every case. The worst case scenarios, of course, in terms of cost and time lost, is the coil went bad, the electronics went bad. So the thing you want to do is learn some field remediation and know how to fix that thing while you're out in the field during your detector trip. I've got more tips like this in the blog having to do with why is my detector beeping. I'll put a link in the description down below. I'd love it if you left some comments too. I do learn from you folks when you put comments in there, and I hope you've learned something from me today. So until the next video, happy hunting.